Sound of Freedom tells the incredible true story of a former government agent turned vigilante who embarks on a dangerous mission to rescue hundreds of children from sex traffickers. Sound of Freedom is directed and adapted to screenplay by Alejandro Monteverde, with Rod Barr co-writing. Welcome back. Going into this film made waves across the box office, accumulated a lot of talk amongst moviegoers about a very taboo subject about human trafficking. Yep, the build-up with Tim Ballard and Jim Caviezel doing numerous amount of interviews as a part of the campaign for this film. The debacle on whether this is true or it's not true. I think the fact of the matter is that it is as real as it can be, which is, I guess, something that leaves a lot of people in denial. But yeah, going into this, there was a lot of hype behind it. And there was this lingering thought in my head where I was thinking, is this film being hyped so much to this extent of its fan service and topic? And I just, in a way, I really wanted to see the film hold out and to see if it really did have any cinema filmmaking qualities to it, and far and above does this film deliver in those aspects. I would say that the opening 10 minutes of this film lets it be known and let it be deeply rooted that this is something that has merely been touched upon in cinema, and by the real life footage that they show, it is absolutely horrifying in every aspect, and you're kind of left in shock and kind of cemented to your seat in the manner of what you're actually seeing unfold. Or 6 other people that were in that auditorium, we were ready to embark on this mission with Tim Ballard to see this journey of how is he going to save these children. And talking about Tim Ballard, let's talk about the man who encapsulated him, and that is Jim Caviezel. And Jim Caviezel, you can feel an absolute lifetime of the work of his craft, the trials and tribulations of life even radiate out of his performance onto the screen. And Jim Caviezel's performance in this film is one of the reasons that we, as audiences, we go and we watch cinema, to be taken by an experience. And a lot of people can have a lot of different perceptions on what is acting, and acting it's drama, it's this, it's that. But for myself, I like to think of it a lot more deeper than that, because I think acting in nature is truthful to life. And when you're watching Jim Caviezel in his performance, you feel absolutely every single emotion that he portrays. When he's sad, you feel sad. When you feel joy, you feel joy when he portrays it. And that's a fundamentally powerful thing, what he pulled off in this performance. And also, we all know that he deserves to be nominated for for the top billing for ceremonies for acting. He deserves to have his name in that top 5 category. But we all know, anyone that's well informed, the likelihood of that happening is, it's like 40 to 60. I can see him getting his name there, but if we're talking about the upper echelon, I just don't think it will happen. But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, because he done his thing. And this performance will forever be timeless, and the one that people remember that he gave everything to. So, Jim Caviezel, if I had a hat, I'd tip it to you, man. You're the man. Let's also talk about Bill Camp in this film, who kind of comes into the beginning of the second act of the film, and he's kind of the right-hand man to Tim Ballard in this film. And what's interesting with him is, yes, he's the right-hand man, but also there's an interesting aspect of redemption with his character. And also, both characters have to pull the best out of each other, in the sense of, if they want to catch these criminals, then they have to break bad themselves. They have to think like a criminal and imitate them, and do the use their own deceit against them, which was really intriguing to see unfold. But yeah, talking about redemption, redemption with Bill Camp's character, then we got revenge with Tim Ballard, and those two themes are kind of symbolic to the Bible. We see a character that fundamentally done something that was wrong, and then redeemed himself to then do good. And then we see the aspect of revenge with Tim Ballard, and we understand his purpose, and we see where he's going. And then this incredible moment in the third act, where we see him act out his revenge, and in a very in an almost offbeat way, it catches you off guard. And you're like, oh my God, these people push this man to such an extent that in this moment in his life, he becomes the darkness, right? And it was scary to see him in that moment become the darkness, to where they literally left him with no choice, and he laid the absolute smackdown on this one dude. And it's the way it was shot, it was, a lot of people can see that it, in that moment, could have been really cathartic, and it was, but there was also this dark edge to it, where it was like, you see what happened when you play with a good man? You see what you get? That's the result. And now you can deal with the consequences of what just happened. Touching upon the different aspects of Sound of Freedom, I remember Jim Caviezel, I think even years before when the film came out, he was talking with churches, and just by hearing the things that he was the things that were being acted upon these children, he's some of the things he heard in the cases that he read into would it would fire his soul, or better term was set his soul on fire. And then there's this line of dialogue in the first act where we hear what has been acted upon in this child. And I don't think I've ever felt just so residually angry from what's happened to this kid. And then it catches you, and you kind of realize this actually happened. And I don't know, man. I could have fought 10 men in that moment when I heard that, what these absolute monsters did to this young boy. Shit, it's emotional. As much as this film is issue based on a severe crime, it also can stand on both legs as a great film. And you know, the film has this absolutely beautiful motif of sound with one of the co-main actresses, Rocio, in the beginning and the end of the film, and also some absolutely great symbolic subtext of this necklace that represents strength and love to the characters. And I just thought, what an absolutely beautiful touch to the film amongst the darkness that we see. Now let's talk about the one con of this film. Now, when we talk about Tim Ballard, we know we know him in a sense of his three-dimensional nature. One of the lines of dialogue kind of speaks in spades for the character's mindset and where he stands on being this righteous figure, and that God's children are not for sale. We understand that. And that, I guess, that can be resonating with majority of the world. I would believe so. But I guess when we're talking about, again, aspects of cinema, we know that that's deeply rooted for him, and that's just a given. But if we're talking the nature of a first person ideology, and in a sense of when is it really that the penny drops for him as a character, where he decides that he wants to be a part of law enforcement and crack down on these monstrous criminals. We don't really see that. We see it in principle, where he feels this attachment to this kid, and then he believes, well, my purpose my whole life has been this, and that I'm just at a point where my purpose is so powerful that it doesn't matter if I die in seek of doing my purpose justice, which is to bring a family back together. But I guess, what was it for him when he was younger that he saw then, where it was like, I'm going to take this profession as seriously as I can, But I guess if we were to go down that route, then in a way the film itself would have extended the runtime even more. And then, then would the film miss its beats then, because there may be scenes have been drawn out. So it's understandable, not something that I would say that takes anything away from the film, from it being really good. The way that this film concluded in its third act, I can't remember a time where I felt that emotional the way it concluded. the cinematography of the light, the sunrise beaming through the shutters, radiating onto the characters. I mean, it was picturesque, masterful lighting. And the only way you could have shot that was if it was on location and that you timed exactly when sunrise was going to come up, and then you captured that shot, you know. I mean, that frame, those frame in it of itself, you know, we don't want AI, because there's a big talk about AI trying to be involved by studios now, and that's the whole reason why there's this massive strike with SAG and the Writers Guild as well, because of this. They want to intertwined AI, and I just think there's nothing that can look as pretty as that. You can't be on set filming. And again, I think the cinematography of this film deserves some major praise as well. Whether or not it's going to get it, I don't know. But to the cinematography of this film, bravo. Beautiful work. And I guess to really conclude this review, I will be giving The Sound of Freedom an 8.5. Again, because I guess for missing that ideology part, but again, it don't really take anything away from the film. And I guess if we want this point of a horrible subject matter to really hit home, we ourselves, we have to look into the different ways and aspects that we can stop such hideous crime, and I guess spread the message of this film, but then also take it upon ourselves to find out organisations that are doing everything in their power to, and fund them, to stop this just malicious, malignant crime. So yeah, 8.5 for The Sound of Freedom. Thank you all for watching. Follow me on Rumble as well. I'll link that in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next video. Cheers.